right, we are live on a Wednesday night, typical Wednesday night here. Thanks, City Soundoff. Quick shout out to the sponsor of the month, the Prairie Alchemist up in the St. Malo. I got to still get out that way. The menu is changing, but we are here for another reason tonight. We were just talking about, success in music. And tonight I have a guest who I am really just kind of, I don't want to say learning about, as I've heard the name, but I've really taken a little bit of a dive into the music as of late. And you know what? We're just going to get right to it. I'm going to let you do the intro.
What's that? Me to do the intro?
You do the intro. Tell us who
Hi,
you
this
are.
is Joel, and this is
No,
Pixie.
no, not me.
Hi,
We
I'm
just
Romi
go through
Mayes.
you. So we're here with Romi Mayes tonight. We got a lot to talk about. There's some pretty cool things happening in your world. Obviously, you kind of filled me in before we went live. So let's get to it. Let's get to the
Let's
big
get to the
talk
fact
here.
that Michael Jensen already wrote Rami. Cool.
Awesome.
Hi, Michael Jensen.
There you go. Awesome. This is gonna be a fun show. It's a fun
Yeah, I hope
show.
so.
Let's get right to it. Sure Shot Bookings. Let's hear all about it.
Well,
Tell
it's
us
my
about Sure
company,
Shot.
so it's a big deal to me. Yeah, so I've been playing music for ever and a day. And about 5 years ago, I started working as a contractor for a company, and I was starting to it was because COVID. When COVID started, we were trying to solve the problem of music lovers needing music and musicians needing work. So that was what we did in that company. And over the 5 years I worked there, I was a contractor, so I expanded the company from BC to Newfoundland, and I have a roster now of 150 or more artists. Oh, Jen Munoz, hi. Um, it's fun to have the little thing on the
It's
side.
fun.
Hey, Thomas Henry. I don't know who you are, but call me. No, but anyways, and so yeah, so this year I decided after all that time that I'd been working as a contractor for that company to just start my own. And so Sure Shot Bookings is exactly that. From BC to Newfoundland for corporate, community, and private events. So anything from community associations, anniversaries, office towers, shopping malls, birthdays, festivals, fairs, markets. I mean, really, the demographic is endless. Any event that is in Canada, between BC and Newfoundland, which is everywhere, that their event could be enhanced with live music. I have the roster for that, and you just go to sureshotbookings.com, and you kind of like skip the dishes. You just you choose the artist, you choose the time, the date, you fill out the little thing, and it comes to me, and I end up. Hi, Alan. And we end up just facilitating that for you. And if you have questions and you don't really know the dates and you just want to know the pricing or you want to know what it's like, and if you're in an area where there's no artist, we can assess mileage. And it's just been something that's really great. And especially at this time where now there's another climate of US touring and things like that are a little bit sketch. Canadian musicians need all the work they can get, and I'm always supporting it. I'm all about it. So now it's just another good opportunity for Canadian musicians to have some extra work on top of the work they already do.
Amazing.
Yeah, it really
Amazing.
is. I'm
That
pretty excited about it.
absolutely. It sounds like it's very simple for a person to use though as well, right?
Completely, yeah, yeah. It just
Simplicity
the
is key.
website is very user friendly. Hello, Ruth Morris. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
say hi to everybody.
absolutely. You know what? There's nights. There's sometimes 89 comments in there, so have
Well,
at
I'll
it.
say hi 89 times then. It's just really nice that people are on this. That's great.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to
There's
tell
a.
my mom how to get on this link, but I don't know how.
Do you want to take a second and send the link to her?
Yeah, how do I do that? I'm looking at your Peg City Sound. So Peg
So it
City
should
Sound Off
it should show live on there right now.
live.
There you are.
Oh, there's me talking right now.
Do you
Back.
want to take a second and send the link to her?
So how do I send the link?
You should be able to just share it.
It's us in the
It show live
past.
on there right now.
Trippy.
There you are.
So how do I send the link?
Is there a little share button at it?
I don't see a share button.
What if you just send the page?
I see that there's 4 people on here.
There's 6 now.
Okay, I don't really see the. Jesus, it's just me talking in. This is very good live.
This is amazing. This is the first. Here, I just sent you the link to your
Email
Instagram. If you
to
can
my
forward it from there.
Instagram.
Yeah, if
Great.
you can forward it from there.
Thank you, because clearly I don't have the ability to do so. I'm just going to send it to my mom.
All good. So we're here live tonight, and we're just sending things to Rami's mom right now.
I just really love my
Uh,
mom, you know?
Thank you, Michael, Thomas, Jen, of course, Jen and Ruth. You're always on here, so I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate anyone
Um,
that's there, but I just wanted to be able to share it with my mom. So there we go.
Absolutely.
Now I've done that.
Now
She's
we've
a very my mom is amazing. She's always if I tell her I'm on CJOB or CBC or doing something live, or something, she's always watching. So I want to yeah, moms are great, Ruth. You're right. Yeah, my mom's the best.
awesome. It's nice to have support in the music world, right?
Sorry. So yeah, Sure Shot Bookings, it's
Hmm.
amazing. It's been the best thing I've ever done. I think that I really needed to do something. I've always booked events and planned events and tried to, support the Canadian local music scene the best I can somehow. And I think that this is just sort of it's all come down to this, and it's actually going really well. And I've only been doing this for a couple months as Sure Shot Bookings, and I'm getting a lot of action from all over Canada, and I'm getting to employ a lot of musicians. And it's just been a fantastic opportunity for me to use my skills and make some money and do something I'm proud of. So it's kind of the hilt right now for me.
That's awesome. And you have a roster of 150 plus.
150 plus artists right now. Yeah, and I'm
Unbelievable.
people are always asking to be on the roster, but I have to I don't mind. I source off the roster all the time for things like Lunar New Year or Pride or Christmas or whatever it is all the time.
Hmm.
So I do have an excellent huge list of artists that aren't on the roster that I use all the time or source and find all the time, like a klezmer band for a bar mitzvah. I'm like, let me find you one. I'll find it. But I do like to keep the roster itself kind of small so it's not overwhelming for people. And I just want to try and give the people that are on the roster as much work as possible.
That's awesome. Is this the evolution of Rami from music into this? Like it sounds like obviously it's very important to you. It's your own company, right? But is this something? I guess the hard question is this something you'd rather do than the music?
I think this has definitely taken precedence, but
Hmm.
I'm still playing music all the time. I haven't been actively really, besides my album release last year, which was 9 years after my last album before that. I hadn't really been, I've been playing and I've been touring and things like that, but I hadn't really been taking my career as seriously as I had when I was younger, when it was my sole income and my main career.
Hmm.
So this is my career. The company's my career, and I'm always going to be playing music. I'm playing a bunch of shows still this year, and I'm
Hmm.
still really into obviously playing music. But I think that this is a great transition for me to be able to stay in the industry, and I've always been good at the business side as well. So it's great. It's a great sort of, I'd say 70-30. 70 to Sure Shot Bookings, 30 still in caring about my music career.
Excellent. I'm gonna I'm gonna take you way back right now because I want to get somewhere
Hi,
with a
Gemma.
question here. What is your? This is a question I don't think I've ever asked on here. What is your earliest memory of music?
Well, way back for what like my first not even on stage memory is I used to listen to this ghetto blaster that we had in our bedroom, and we would you had two cassette on each side,
Hmm.
one cassette, and sometimes you could even just like record from one tape to another tape, so you can make mixed tapes. And this is something that will be lost on all the youngins, but it was an art, I tells you, to make a mixtape. It was even way better than making a mixed CD, which still doesn't happen anymore. But and so from the radio, I would do a lot of recording, and I wouldn't know what I'd want to hear from the radio, but I would just press record, which is the two button. You had to press play and record at the same time, and I'd press them both. And if it was a song I liked, I'd let it go, and if it wasn't, then I would stop and rewind and set it back up for the next song. And around that time, I listened to a lot of classic rock. There was a lot of classic rock radio stations. There still are somewhat in Winnipeg, but there were tons of them then. And I think that I would take a hairbrush and kind of look in the mirror and try and be Joan Jett or Pat Benatar or Blondie, and So I didn't know that I was really, really into music, but retrospectively, for sure, that's probably one of my first memories of. And I was young. That's like 6, 7, 8 years old or something. I miss you too, Jen.
Excellent. So, which kind of leads me to the next question. When did you start playing
It's
music?
actually a really good story.
Mm.
I was about. Well, I did do a couple of talent shows like through my school
Mm.
when I was younger. But then my first real taste of music as a musician and someone I was well, there's a two-part story, but I went to a camp out in Lake of the Woods, a canoe camp, and it was BB camp. It's like the Jewish equivalent of Camp Stevens out there. And we would go on these long canoe trips. And the one that was called Advanced Camp, it was 4 weeks. I had an out tripper named Leah Steele, and she had an acoustic guitar. And I think I was about 14 then, maybe 15. I think 14 though. And I just loved that she would just sit around the campfire and sing. She was pretty basic at it, but "Wonderful Tonight" by Eric Clapton or the Kumbaya songs.
Mhm.
And I got back from that canoe trip, and I was like, "Mom, please, please buy me a guitar." So we went to this little place on McPhillips and bought a $150 guitar called a Fiesta,
Mm.
and I started just playing on that. And then I was writing a little bit as well, like poetry and stuff like that. So I put all that together, and I had a few songs. And then my very first time on stage was at the Blue Note on Main Street, which is now Blue Note Park, but there used to be a building there actually called the Blue Note Cafe.
Mhm.
And I was very young, and everyone there was quite a bit older and more established. And I really got hit with this music scene there. And I was called up to play a couple songs, and I was like, no, no. And then I got up and I played a couple songs I had written, and it was pretty powerful. I'd made these like bikers and these like late night cokeheads or whatever, these like late night dark, dark people from
Mhm.
after hour people. And I made them cry, and I made them, really move. They were moved. And so they came up to me and they were just telling me, wow, that was pretty heavy. And I was only like, I guess 15 around then. And that's when I knew. I just went home that night and I was like, I'm going to play music the rest of my life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's always cool hearing stories like that,
Yeah, and
where
it was
people
and
got their
Bobby Starr
start. And,
actually, who doesn't come around much very often anymore, but he was a staple in the music scene for a long time. This old hippie, Bobby Starr, and he was the one who called me up on stage. So there's a lot of credit to him for kind of kicking that off for me.
it's awesome. Awesome. You mentioned the word scene, which is a word that gets thrown around on this show quite a bit since it became a show in September, talking about the local music scene, and I do focus on most locals. Um, Talk about the scene. When you were playing, and the
Oh
scene
man.
now. Do you still follow the inner music scene of Winnipeg?
Well, yeah, I mean, especially because of what I do.
Hmm.
I'm always trying to stay sort of hip on who's new, what's up and coming, and some new up and comer songwriters and things like that. But the scene in Winnipeg has always just been next to none, and everyone in Canada knows it, and people down south sometimes even know it if they're smart enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are like in Toronto and Vancouver, and everyone always says, "What's in the water? What's in the water in Winnipeg?" And it's an endless sea of these such talented musicians, and sometimes I wonder if it's just because we have these obscenely cold winters that we have nothing else to do but jam. And sometimes I think it's just because we have this, middle of Canada #1 highway where everyone's passing through all the time, and we're sort of just sponging everything from everybody else or something. But the truth of the matter is that one of the things we have that a lot of music scenes don't have is a non-competition sort of thing going on that most other scenes do. I mean, the bass player in that band plays banjo in that band. And yes, cold weather makes us great songwriters. It's true. Yes, Ruth, you are correct. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know what it is, but I'm just really happy that I've been raised in it since I was young. I just there aren't enough there's not enough time in this whole uh, webcast for me to list the musicians that I know or that I've known over the years that have formed me who I am, or I'm still learning from, that are
Mhm.
new and upcoming. And it's just an incredible music scene here, always.
Yeah, absolutely. That's we usually talk about that quite a bit on here with different guests, and as I said before, we went live talking to a person like John Enertson who's been around and done some pretty incredible things too. He also recognizes the scene of Winnipeg and how great it is, and we've talked many times that we would challenge any city to a music off, and
100%.
I think we
And I
take
mean,
it.
it's not to say that there aren't as talented people in other cities. I just think we have a larger every day I'm learning someone new.
Hmm.
That literally yesterday, like, I was like, wow, who's this? And it's someone in Winnipeg playing. And Riley Saunders is a really great guy to learn from as well, because he has the Osborne Tap House and he's got that
Hmm.
whole Village Idiots thing. And so he has this finger on this pulse for this young and upcoming stuff, young and upcoming songwriters and singers and musicians that from all the open mics and things like that he's seen, that's taught me a lot about what's going on with the youth here in Winnipeg.
Hmm.
But as far as historically and veteran wise, there are still plenty of us kicking around. But yeah, there's some amazing musicians all across Canada. I just think that we have so many; it's insane.
Yeah, you're right. Riley's such a great promoter of it. He was on here I'm going to say 3 weeks ago, and 3 or 4 weeks ago. What a great wealth of knowledge of everything
He's
from
fantastic. I'm going to blow my nose. 1 second.
perfect. There
Off
you go.
screen. I could have muted, but I didn't
That's okay. You don't have to.
because I'm only human.
Exactly.
This smoke,
Um,
the smoke from the wildfires is just wreaking havoc on my system.
isn't it though?
Yeah, I mean, not just mine, everybody's, but
Everyone, yeah. It's horrible.
mm.
Um, let's jump to another thing that I want to talk to you about. Your latest album, Small Victories. Now, I said before we went live, I've been listening to it for last 2 days. Just bing, 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 bing. Just go, 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 go. Every time I'm in a vehicle, that's what's on,
I
and
appreciate
I
that.
absolutely love it. And I'm gonna credit. You know what? I'm gonna throw a lot of credit to Sid Blum right now, who is the one who told me you got to listen to it. It's really good. So then I listened to it, and then we communicated, and now you're on here, and yeah,
Yes,
it's
it is another
fantastic.
just the support he gives the city is insane.
Hmm. Absolutely. And but listening to this album now, it's not an album you want to shuffle, and there's a
No.
reason why you don't want to shuffle it. And I learned that because I didn't shuffle it, and I thought, okay, we're kind of doing an acoustic album here. And then I think it's song 6 or 7, bingo, takes another
Yeah,
turn,
so
right?
it's not acoustic actually either. It's there's some acoustic guitars in the first half, but it
Hmm.
is electric slow. But so yeah, like I was telling you earlier, yep, Sid Bloom is the man. Or is it Sid Blum? I think it's Bloom. But maybe when you said Blum now I think after all these years I'm saying it wrong maybe.
Well, I think I introduced myself and said that name, so I'm gonna roll with that one until I get corrected.
All right. I'll ask him next time I see him. But for now, we'll just call him Sid.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had been writing a lot of songs, and like I said, it was 9 years since my album before that. So I'd been writing a lot of songs, and it just seemed to be that when I was ready and I felt like writing an album, that it was about six slow songs, pretty sort of ballads, and about six rock and roll songs. And I said, well, why don't I just do one set? Like it's made for vinyl, so I
Hmm.
understand that people listen to it on Spotify and all that. I didn't make a CD, and I didn't really care about the digital that much. I knew that that was how people would mostly listen to it, but I made it for vinyl. It's a vinyl album, and it was so it's a soft side A, heavy side B. So it's like you listen to the first side and it's like all these sort of groovy ballads and these pretty songs, and then you flip it and it just kicks into the heavy stuff. And that's how we toured it as well. We would do the first half of the show would be slow, and then we'd flip the record, so to speak, and then kick it off and rock for everybody. I mean, I'm always partial to the slower stuff because it's just it's just kind of something I really love to do, but it's really fun to rock out to. So
Excellent. Um, for those that will watch this and have not heard it, I will tell you right now, please tell my heart. And when you ask, I believe it is called. Those are my personal two favorites off it, and those are off the slower side, the softer
right, and
side.
when you ask is actually you're correct. When you ask is the only one that has no band on it, and we actually just did two guitars, two acoustic guitars, and vocals live off the floor. So that's
Oh, excellent.
yeah. So I mean, we tried to do it where the vocals came later. We tried to do it with one guitar, then the other guitar. And, it's just like the feel was there. So we just said, go for it. And that kind of leaves you vulnerable vocally, because if it's not a perfect vocal take, you kind of just have to go with the best
Mhm.
take of it all. You can't really punch vocals in and try to figure out, how to make one great track. So, but there is something really organic about that track, and it's a song I actually wrote years and years ago, and it was originally on my 2009 album. But then when it was I was listening to it and trying to put the order together, I pulled it. So then we just re-recorded it, like I guess 16 years later, which is crazy. Yeah.
Awesome. Um, kind of you mentioned shows playing the soft side and then the kind of the rock side. Also really cool you did vinyl with the whole vinyl thing coming back and people are out buying vinyl. It's really cool when you start seeing artists doing vinyl and even with like withholding doing CDs, right, and just going
Yeah,
straight to the vinyl.
I'm a vinyl head. So I only listen to vinyl mostly. I mean, obviously I listen to digital music through my Bluetooth a lot, when people are over, I'm trying to listen to a certain track or on the road or something like that.
Hmm.
But I'm definitely a vinyl person, and I did actually vinyl for my last 3 albums. Wait,
That's
maybe
awesome.
4. 2000, 2011, 2015, and 2025. They were all, or 24. Those 3 were all vinyl. Mhm.
Excellent. When, or sorry, I shouldn't say when, where, while we're on the topic of vinyl, where can people buy it? I know where people can buy it. I saw it, but where can
You
people
saw
buy it?
it. Where did you see it?
Well, it's on your website.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, where did you it's not on any store, so I was like, "Where did you see it?"
No,
Yeah,
it's on your
you can
website.
buy it just through me, actually. I had made just enough as what I thought would be great for when I'm at shows, when I'm at my
Hmm.
live shows, and if you come to a live show. And then, of course, if you really wanted to purchase it, you can, pay for it, and pay for shipping and handling, and I'll send it to you. And if you're in Winnipeg, well, of course, you can pick it up somewhere, or we can figure something out. But, it will be I'm playing at Folk Fest this year, so there'll be some
Hmm.
at Folk Fest.
Yeah, and that was the next thing I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
You got three coming up here. You got what do I got here? I got Folk Fest, and you also have Trout Forest Festival in Ear Falls.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then you got Gimli Blues Fest.
correct. Yeah, those are actually my only 3 shows that I have booked right now. Actually, in October, I might do a duo show somewhere, but I'm not really sure yet. But, I just sort of in May, I played 4 shows, and I think that out of respect to the Folk Fest too, it's nice to not play around the city too much when you're playing there. And as I said, the business sort of kicked off in the beginning of April. So I just sort of wanted to focus on the company. But if I get a really good offer, if someone comes in and says, "Can you come play?" We did play in Alberta and a couple shows like that. If they, if the logistics work, I'll play another show. But so for now, I just have 3 shows this year left, and it's Folk Fest, and yeah, and Trout Forest, that's in August in Ear Falls. Excellent lineup. It's a bit of a commitment because it's 4.5 hours away, but
Hmm.
a lot of people know that festival, and it's pretty fantastic if you can get there. And then the Gimli Blues Festival will be at the end of and like in the fall.
Yes, September 5th, I believe,
You
to
might
be
know even better
exact.
than I do. I'm like, it's September-ish, I think.
That's all good. Um, just continuing on shows. Do you have a favorite place you've ever played?
Wow, that's really tricky. A couple popped into my head when you said that, but I'm sure I'm going to miss something and wish I said it later. But there are 2 places that popped up immediately in my head. One is Green Hall in New Braunfels, Texas. It's one of those places that, if you're lucky enough to play, you feel like a Texas outlaw because that's where all those people play. But it's the oldest dance hall in Texas, and there's a front room, then it's sort of a second half spot you can play, and then maybe if you get lucky enough, you can play the back big hall. And I've been lucky enough to be able to play there, and it's in the front room, even when you're just sitting there, that's where like Lyle Lovett started or whoever, like the lists are endless. And still to this day, the people that played there are pretty elite. So, and I played in Lukenbach, Texas too, Waylon Willie and the boys. So that was cool. And then the other place I was thinking about is this place in Kansas City called Knuckleheads.
Hmm.
It's another really, it's like this like sort of like biker bar saloon, but it's this really elitist. Again, like the artists that play there are pretty fantastic, and I felt really lucky to eventually get my picture on the wall with beside all these huge names. So that, and it's just the coolest place. Again, it has three or four different or one, two, three sections that you can play as you kind of advance, as you get older or better, or play
Hmm.
that instrument. And so that's just like it's in this industrial area, and it's you just pull up and you're just, down south. There's just some of these iconic venues, and of course, times change. Times change. High Lonesome Club, the place I pretty much got my Winnipeg pick up and go since I moved back 23 years ago.
Hmm. When you play a venue like that, like you mentioned in Texas, knowing that some big stars have played there, is it kind of eerie to go on that stage?
Not really. I don't think eerie is the right word. I think it's more exciting, and you feel honored. And because these people that are looking at you put you on the same pedestal that they've put these other people, it sort of elevates you to play better. And it makes you feel like you've come into your own or something like that. So, as compared to playing a Tuesday at some pub on the road when you're 18 and it's just like three people and nobody's listening and the rest of the room is playing pinball in the back or something like that.
Hmm.
It's it's the bigger the audience and the more respectful they are to you, whether they know you or not. I think that those rooms sort of warrant respect. So there's definitely this. It's not intimidating at all. It's exhilarating, and it's not eerie at all. It's the best. It really, yeah.
That's excellent. It's awesome to hear. Um, and then just back to your music for a second. Do you have a favorite album you've released?
Oh,
Top one.
every album you make, you sort of hope that it's the better with the best one.
Hmm.
But I do love Small Victories. First of all, because it was my first time that I produced an album, and it was really cool for me to have earned these stripes over all this time, to have the guys that are playing with me to like take my word as gold for like sonically and arrangement wise and harmonically and even like on their instruments, kind of like less that, more this, and so it was pretty cool to be able to do that. So that was an experience that I just, but still to this day, I think "Aching in Your Bones," it was Juno nominated, and it was one of the I think what some of my best songs, but also just really Griff Morlick's produced it, and it was one of those moments where I went, I think I'm good at this. Like it was one of those first, and I had a couple albums before that, but this was the one where I went, holy shit, I'm sound like the people that I love. Like I sound professional now. Like these songs are good. This album's good, and so I think "Ache in Your Bones" might be my favorite album, but at the same time, "Small Victories" and each one, and "Devil on Both Shoulders." I mean, each one as it went, sort of. You like the best, but I think it's harder for me to like "Small Victories" the best because I produced it, and also I love it the best because I produced it.
It's an accomplishment, right?
It is. It really is. It was a huge deal for me. It was after all these times I'd hired a producer. I'd had somebody come in that I trusted that knew my sound or could do my sound or take my sound somewhere that I couldn't take it. But this time, I think after that 9-year hiatus of recording and me working with music and doing all these things with music and not recording and sort of growing and earning my stripes, like I said, I think that was pretty cool to be able to go, I think I know what I want it to sound like. I think I know how to
Hmm.
explain it, and that was, especially as a chick, and I hate to say that, like as a woman, like it's not very common to produce your own albums, these days. I don't know, it just seems less and less. So I was pretty proud of that too.
Awesome. So growing up listening to music and as a musician, do you find maybe some of your influences growing up, do they stay your influences or are you picking up new things along the way?
Well, they've definitely stayed my influences. I mean, like I was saying, Joan Jett, Pat Benatar, Blondie,
Hmm.
Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, CCR, all these bands that were this classic rock influence into my life. ZZ Top, who just came through, and there's so many. But then, of course, like as I learned about more bands, like I just learned about Red Clay Strays, this amazing band, not that long ago, and then I went and saw them, and they were freaking fantastic. And there are bands like Shovels and Rope, and then Gillian Welsh and Dave Rawlings who are playing at Folk Fest. Lucinda Williams, of course, she was added along the way to my. Tom Petty's been consistently one of my biggest heroes in music. Actually, Mike Campbell's playing next Tuesday
Hmm.
from the Heartbreakers. He's playing at the Park Theater. I'm going to be at that for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think if you like change your 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 influences, then it's okay to like move around with them a bit. But if you change your influences, then maybe they were never really your influences because I
Hmm.
feel like they should always be with you. If you ever really love them, then there should be in there somewhere. Like some people have asked me, what kind of like, what's my sound? And it's like, well, I love Motown and I love classic rock and I love blues and I love country and I love bluegrass and I love like heavy rock and I love Maiden. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I guess really what's cool is that it all comes through in everything that I do. And it should always just be added to, never taken away, those influences.
Great answer. Uh,
Yay, had a good answer.
Great answer. Jim and O said she's so proud of you.
Thanks, Jen. I'm
So I
proud of
can
you
see
too. The tea room.
that.
Ellen says the tea room.
Tea room.
And Jim says you're having an awesome show.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for
You're
tuning
welcome,
in on
Jim.
YouTube. Awesome. So I guess kind of where things lead to in the end here is what is next for Rama. You've had success on the music level.
Right.
Your Sure Shot booking sounds like you're killing it out there right now. What is next? Where do you go next?
Well, ideally, I'm just going to keep busting ass with Sure Shot bookings because that does seem to be my trajectory right now. I just want to become like Canada's premier live music go to for bookings. For event bookings. I don't need to be a festival booker, but if a festival needs help, I'll help. And I really do like what I'm doing with Sure Shot a lot. And I do feel as I'm getting older now, it'd be nice if this career sort of worked out. Um, and then musically, I'm just going to always play, always write. I've just, been writing just the last couple days, but I don't really plan to, things have changed so much in the industry that I don't really know that I plan to release an album the same way I've released even this last one, or, try to make the industry give a shit, or, maybe I'll just release a song once in a while, make it free, or, you know what I mean? But I definitely still want to play music, but I don't really see it as being a touring. It's not a viable income or a viable goal anymore. Not because I'm older, but also just because it's just impossible. I don't know how. I completely commend anyone that's still trying to do it. Especially, I feel bad almost for these younger cats who are, borrowing their parents' vehicle and their dad's the bass player of like his dad's credit card and going, sorry, we broke down. And, it's so hard to make a buck out there without, when I was growing up, we had merch, that really paid for a lot of stuff. And the economy was different and people could pay, like good money for your show and give you hotel rooms. And, so it's really changed. The whole atmosphere has changed with the touring, especially Europe and US, but Canada as well. So I'm not really looking to really do that as much as I used to do it at all. But I definitely still would love to continue to rock and play and write music and songs I'm proud of, and hopefully still maintain some kind of status where people still want to listen to my music. But
Hmm.
shop bookings is definitely is the plan right now for sure.
Excellent. Well, I wish you nothing but the best with that. That
Thanks,
sounds
Joel.
sounds so good. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll wrap up here. We had Romi Mayes on the show. Amazing, absolutely amazing to have you on here.
Thank you. I
Um,
really, really, really appreciate you asking me. And I just love how cool Winnipeg is about supporting each other. And this is a great example. So thanks, Joel. And I hope Pig City Sound Off is just like becomes this like massive thing and that people listen to it globally all the time.
awesome. Well, we're trying. For any viewers out there, before we go, this may be the one of the last podcasts before we wrap into the Peg City Sound Off Summer Fest happening
Right.
almost
Summerfest.
almost 1 month to the day. We got 1 month. We're gonna start getting some of those bands on here. We're gonna talk about what's going on and what they're gonna bring at the festival. Once again, Rami, thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you so much, Joel Emerson.
Absolute pleasure.
You guys are the
Okay,
best. Thanks, everybody.
have a
Thanks,
great night. Thank you.
thanks Jimmy D. Thanks.